time. I'm David Smith. We're in the State Capitol building. We're pleased to have Representative Livvy Floren as our guest on this one. And Livvy, you've been working long and hard at this. We should say that Livvy has played this game and has been to this rodeo many times in the past. But I don't think it was as extreme as this at any time, was it?
Well, this is a whole new dynamic with the tie in the Senate and with our caucus, our House Republican caucus at 72 as opposed to the opposition at 79.
Right.
So it's made things more interesting. Every committee has 3 chairs, a Republican senator, a Democrat senator, and a House Democrat.
Okay. Effectively, what does that do?
It changes our strategy. You know, before, I mean, I've been here when we were just like 30 people, you know, in my caucus. And so our strategy then was really to obfuscate more than anything else in a nice way. But to talk and talk and talk and talk until people either PT'd the bill or just dropped it. And now that's not the dynamic at all. We're really having to work together, which I think is wonderful.
Well, that was an awkward time, too, for everybody, because that was when the Ds could point to the Rs and say, see, they're not going to take any responsibility for anything. So they can yell and scream, but they're not doing anything, so we don't have to listen.
They called us the party of no, and that was not a nice thing to say.
And now, you know, you all are right in the thick of things, and actually with the governor declaring that he's not running again, that changes the way he has to deal with things a little bit as well, doesn't it?
You know, I think he's always tried to deal with us very, very well on both sides, but that's just my perspective.
Well,
but it's made him certainly freer in what he can say and do.
Dealing with the unions as he has been doing, he's come up with some numbers and they talk about all that sort of thing, but it doesn't seem from the outside, with $5 billion looming, that that's really going to do the trick.
It won't, but I think it's a good start, and I'm just so happy that they're having the conversation and they seem to be bringing everybody to the table. And some of the ideas are really structural changes, like increasing the co-pays, asking for contribution to the pension. They're things that going forward will be better for everybody, I think.
Can more be asked?
I don't think so this time. I think that they've taken about all the bites of the apple that they can. But as I say, going forward, I think this will be the way, the new norm, and that's good.
But it also would conceivably add 5 more years to the contract, no?
Yeah, it would.
And that puts us out there in a similar position to where we've been with the rolling 20-year plan. It would effectively be a 10 years.
Yeah. But, you know, some things were going to be done right away. I mean, try to get rid of the longevity pay, you know, and instead of overtime, having comp time and asking for a higher, you know, deductible and a higher copay. Those things can happen immediately. So I think that'll work.
A lot of people are concerned with the bonding of the state, and we are way out there on the bonding level, and yet people are still looking for more, in spite of the fact that we are in very dire straits here.
Well, the governor's proposal was at $2.1 billion, and for the last 6 years we've been bonding about $1.8 billion a year. My committee, which is very bipartisan and very collegial, and we work well together, we're trying to bring that down to $1.1 billion. And I want to tell you, it's not easy. We took all the low-hanging fruit. We're not putting in very many new authorizations. Also, if things have just been sitting around unallocated, we've taken them down, while still trying to preserve things that mean a lot to the cities and towns, because we're asking so much more of them. So I think that the Small Town Economic Assistance Program, Urban Act, the nonprofit pool, things like that, we're trying to keep whole.
That'll be part of the 1-1.
Yep, and that'll be under the bond cap of 90%. But it's so interesting, with the revenues changing on a daily basis, it's like dealing with a, you know, floating cap game, I call it, because we have to be a portion of the revenue. You know, we're an inverse proportion.
That is the surprising thing to a lot of citizens who, you know, read or hear from us or whatever it is, that all of a sudden, you know, 300 billion, not 300 billion, but what was it? $500 million more was added a month and a half ago or something to the deficit.
is a deficit, yeah.
Seemingly out of no place.
I know.
And where did it come from so rapidly in such a
Well, I
huge
think
sum?
tax day came and they weren't getting the revenues that everybody
Tax
predicted.
day came, but the taxes didn't.
Didn't come. I think a lot of very, very wealthy people, delay paying. They get an extension.
Yeah.
Most people didn't take their capital gains. They're just sitting there holding it.
Right.
So, it's a variable. And there's nothing as constant as change. Isn't that what they say?
That's what they say, and apparently we prove it here with great regularity. All right, going toward the budget, in your case, what bills have been important to you that you can see still maintaining the light of day or interested in?
Well, there haven't been many bills that have a fiscal mode. That's for sure. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching what they do in the budget and the budget implementer. That's where all the little...
Explain the implementer, if you can do it succinctly, the implementer, because that's something that people don't really have any idea.
Well, nobody up here has any idea either because it's written in the dead of night and it's 70,000 pages long and it gets on your desk and you're asked to vote like that. It's the details where the devil always lies, in the details on implementing the budget. And it's the kitchen sink of all bills.
So we come down with X as the budget.
Right. This is X plus. You can't have the budget, you can't start the budget until you have these implementing clauses. But you can throw a whole lot of stuff in there, and it's not good. So you'll usually see anybody who votes against the budget votes against the implementer.
All right. It doesn't look as though there's going to be an implementer by the official
June 7th, no.
Anything like that.
No. I think we'll come back. They'll negotiate, and then we'll probably come back the end of June. Now, we've got a bond commission's meeting scheduled for June 30th, if you can believe that, the last day of the fiscal year. So we may, instead of that, we may come back and vote on the budget and the bond bill. See, the budget starts first because that's a House bill, and then the bond bill starts in the Senate and comes down.
Oh, okay.
So we're pretty far along on our bond bill. We're meeting with the Office of Policy and Management today, and if they go along with it, we're in good shape. Until the revenues change again.
Yeah, for that, until the revenues change.
But we're hoping, you see, if the revenues go up, we can add back some things that we think are totally worthwhile, but we just don't have the money for it. And there's no pork in this.
Optimism.
Well, I have a lot of optimism.
I like the way she thinks.
Well, the thing is now, I tell people, there's no pork in this budget. We are all vegetarians as of today.
Hey, thank you so much for being with us.
Always good to see you. Thank you for coming up here.
Well, it is always a pleasure, and it is nice to find some people here who are working across the aisles to try and work things out on a regular basis and showing a lot of sensitivity. Representative Livvy Floren, our guest for the decision to meet the leaders in an interesting time up here for the last few hours at the state capitol. I'm David Smith.